This doesn't seem right. I feel like... Ah! Ah! This box right here has an item in it, and it's been sitting in my shop for like 7 or 8 months. It's a tool that is fairly expensive and probably not that practical for crafting. Open it up, see what it can do, and maybe see if it does have some practical uses for terrain making. And at the very least, I'm gonna get to try out an expensive tool that most people probably would never have the opportunity to try. Really? Why is this a friggin' 2-man operation here? What is this thing called? A Mayku? Mayku? It is a vacuum former. Vacuum forming is a thing that I've always been interested in and thought was pretty neat. Until recently, it hasn't been an at-home technology. Even now with stuff like this, it's still not a really cheap thing that you can just pick up for the hell of it. A hefty machine. Okay, it looks pretty fancy. I'm gonna set this thing up and let's vacuum form some stuff. Choose a Mayku cast sheet. It looks like each of them have different temperatures and times. It looks fairly simple. I don't know, the instructions look pretty clear. See if I can follow the guide successfully. That was probably not supposed to happen. Let's try this again. There, that's how it's supposed to look. Press the timer start button after you lift the tray. I gotta set the time, making a funny clinking sound. Let's put this thing in there. When you hear the ticking sound get faster, check to see if your sheet is ready to form. I got a green light saying the temperature's good, but I think I'm just waiting for the timer to be clicking down. Okay, it's clicking. Here goes nothing. Back, oh! So that may not have worked properly. Well, I certainly have a triangle piece of plastic now. I want to try a few other test pieces, just using what's included, maybe grabbing some household stuff, and then I can think about actually trying to do something useful with this. All right, while I wait for the anxiety-inducing timer to tick up and be ready here, let's talk about the sponsor of this week's video. This video is brought to you by Critical Dice and 1985 Games, who have partnered to bring you the Deck of Stories on Kickstarter. The Deck of Stories is a collection of unique and captivating story hooks meant to be used in your favorite tabletop role-playing games as some instant and easy inspiration for game masters. Each card has a different game hook with questions to help you flesh out details for your new adventure. Cards can even be combined to make a full epic story arc. Whether you're planning a long campaign or just need a quick one-shot idea for your next session, the Deck of Stories always is a great tool in your game prep toolbox. The Kickstarter will include the first 2 volumes, 5 themed boosters, and the Genesis box. NPC boosters will also be available. These sets include pre-generated characters that you can quickly insert into your story. Each NPC features a collection of traits that can help you roleplay that character. The traits develop the NPC, but still keep their background vague enough for them to fit into your own original world. The crafting GM has a lot of work on their plate, and tools like this are invaluable for getting dynamic and exciting sessions planned and prepared for your group. The Kickstarter just launched, and I'll put a link in the video description so you can grab a set of these cards for yourself. Thanks for sponsoring this video. Now back to playing with my newfangled machine. Well, I've played with this machine for a couple hours now, so I'm going to give you my first impressions. Like any tool, it would take time to develop the skills using it to really learn how to use it to its fullest potential. It would take time to get creative with it. Once you know what a machine or a piece of technology is good at and bad at, you can kind of start to work within those constraints and really capitalize the things that it's good at and avoid the things that it's not. While it certainly has some potential, it really isn't drawing me in and making me want to do more. There's other things I would rather spend my time on. The first pulls I did on this thing, they didn't seem to actually suck down very much. That was user error. The power cord was sitting just on the edge here, and when the plates were engaged, they weren't all the way down and it wasn't creating good suction. Fixed it and moved on. I was still getting these weird ridge lines where it was wrapping down around an object. It's like the extra material had nowhere to go and it created these strange ridges. This may be, again, user error, or it just might be particular layout and geometry that caused this sort of problem, and it would require experience to know how to avoid that. They seem to promote this as a mold making tool, something you can pour plaster into or something like chocolate. I wonder if I could make something similar to the Woodland Scenics rock mold, because those are a really useful hobby tool. So I just grabbed some rocks, tried to make a little mold. The problem is, because of the whole undercut situation, just like silicone molding, you can't pull something out if it's trapped in there. You know, I found removing the rocks would cause ripping and tearing. I thought it might be really neat to take styrofoam chunks and form that and get like a hard plastic shell. Not very good at all. This is something that, again, maybe with practiced, would actually yield great results. Weird sci-fi panels and greebles kind of seemed like the thing that would really make this machine excel. So I made a little styrofoam thing with a bunch of different shapes, and it did not work very well. It didn't suck down. I think it needs a lot of air holes within the piece to get that suction into middle areas. Taking a form of a plastic toy, this actually worked pretty okay, but it didn't pull out the details nearly as well defined as I would have hoped. I think basic geometric shapes is where this really shined. I gotta say, despite this material being very thin, it's really, really strong. And what I think would be really cool is finding interesting shapes and using the clear plastic and making like windows. If you made a sci-fi building and put a couple of these clear plastic, interesting shaped windows on it, it would look pretty cool. Is it worth getting a machine like this just to do that? I personally don't think so. If you are interested in getting something like this, I will put a link to where you can buy it on Amazon if you want. There's also the option of making your own. Lots of people make their own vacuum form machines, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube you can search up and try to make one for yourself if you really want to just give it a go. What I think I would buy are these packs of sheets. These are essentially just little sheets of styrene. And I tested out plastic cement on it. It works. I have mentioned in videos that I have difficulty where I live getting plain sheets of styrene for an affordable price. And I looked these up. I'm gonna be buying these in the future just for general styrene use. So I think that's the biggest win for this whole experience for me personally. Let me know the glaring obvious use that I totally missed that I should be using this for in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Of course, if you wanna help support the channel and pick up some supplies for hobbying, check out blackmagicraft.ca. There I've made an essential equipment page where I explain and list all the stuff that I use regularly. Probably not gonna be adding this to the essential equipment list, but if you do want to get this, link in the video description. Of course, if you enjoy these videos I make and you want to help me keep making them, the best way you can do that is by supporting the channel on Patreon. It really helps me make these videos every week, and I'd love to have you as the newest member of the Blackmagic Craft Fellowship. That's it for this week, guys. Cheers, happy crafting.